Hi everybody! So today we are going to be doing our 80s watercolor pattern design. Alright, so first of all we're going to go over what you need for this project. Number one, watercolor paper. Alright, you can't use regular printer paper because it's going to crinkle and get all gross. I've had this one for a couple of months. I've used a lot of it, as you can tell, but you can find these at Walmart. You can find them just about anywhere. Alright, next you're going to need watercolors. You can use any palette you have. This is my favorite. This is by Koi Watercolors. I've covered it in stickers. But it's a little on the more expensive side, so if you need something from Walmart or the dollar store, do not fret. Anything will do. Alright, next I have the dollar store pack of Crayola crayons. Crayola is my favorite. I think you should probably stick to Crayola, but whatever you have around the house will do. You just need 16 colors at the minimum, maybe even 5. But crayons are very important. Alright, next you're going to need a black Sharpie. Basic size, no thin ones, just your regular old Sharpie. Alright, then you're going to need a brush basin and your brushes. So this is just regular water. Alright, and the specific brushes we're going to need today, that's like the bare minimum, is your round, your large, medium round. Alright, I believe this is a number 10, a number 8, or a 4 will do as well. Don't go higher than 10. Alright, you can find the number up here on the barrel of the brush. Alright, and then one more that you can use that's optional is the filbert. So that's right here. This is a 1/2 inch. It doesn't really have a number. I'm going to assume it's like an 8. But you can see it's got a rounded tip. Really good for little details, especially in your circles. Then you're going to need just a towel, paper towel. This is my paint towel, covered in paint, as you can tell. You're going to need this to dry your brush off with. Alright, and then you're going to need your circles. So what you're going to use for these, you're going to need something to trace. So I have the top of a ragu bottle, very circular. And I have an old Starbucks cup. So it's got two sides. It's got the smaller side and the larger side. You're going to want both of these. Alright, so at this point, I assume you have already looked at the PowerPoint and taken into account what kind of shapes you'd like to do. If you haven't, it's going to be in the bio of this video. I definitely recommend you look at it and just get some inspiration of what you want to do. But let me pull out our example. Here we go. Okay, so this is my example. As you can see, I did this in my sketchbook. So if you feel like practicing first, which you totally can, use this in your sketchbook, but we're going to take a look at what we've done here. So what I have done here is I have used geometric and organic shapes to create a dynamic background design. Okay, so using the geometric and the organic shapes, I've layered them, see here, to create depth. And I've used a gradient in the background and in some of my shapes to create more depth. A gradient is a smooth transition from one color to another. All right, that's really important. And then we've used patterns. So patterns are anything that's repetitive. So you've got your swirlies here, we've got stripes, we've checkers, we've got some fun triangles, we've got some curly guys over here, some wiggly guys. Basically anything goes as long as it's repetitive. So let's go ahead and get started. So first things first, you're going to need your Sharpie. Alright, so what you want to do is you're going to grab your circle. So what I'm going to use for this, since it's a paper cut, so I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut it in half. So it's a little tricky at first. Just like that. Get a good cut going. You may need an adult to help you with this, but by cutting it in half, it's a lot easier to trace. It's a lot smaller. So you can take your main circle, all right, place it anywhere on your paper. I'm going to do right here. Take your Sharpie, hold it down flat with the palm of your hand, put some good pressure on it, and lightly trace. If you need to pick up your pencil again or your marker again, that's fine. All right, go nice and slow. Take your time. Tracing is pretty hard. There we go. It's a little tricky to get around your wrist, so take your time again. There we go. And voila, we have a circle. Alright, next you're going to take your other circle, put it anywhere else, just like this. We're going to do the same thing. I think I'm going to flip it, yeah. So go ahead and put your marker up to the edge, bring it around. Oh, alright, I moved this one, so it's going to be a little bit bumpy, but that is okay. Art is not ever perfect. Alright, I'm going to take it out, I'm going to freehand it. There we go. Okay, so we have our 2 circles. Now it's time to pick the rest of your shapes. So what you can use in this part is you can use a ruler, you can use a straight edge, you can use anything you want. I'm going to freehand mine. I think I'm going to bust out my ruler and my triangle. So I have this funky little triangle here. It works as a ruler on one end. You've got some like tracers here. You got a curve here. You can do whatever you want with this. So I'm just going to trace some shapes. First of all, I want to have a shape that has a hollow inside, just like this. All right, this is really important. You've got to get one of these. So I'm going to use a triangle. All right, you can use whatever you want. So I'm going to have the beginning of it start behind this circle. Bring it up and make it a little bigger, just like that. All right, I'm going to bring it down here. It's going to come real close. Find that, there we go, to our next circle. Oh, look at that, it intersects. That's perfect, that's totally good. All right, I want to assume my point is here, so I'm going to start on this end, bring it up, just bring it up. So eventually these 2 lines would meet. So that's how you know it's going to be even. So there we go. We've got our triangle. So now I'm going to give it an inside, just like this. Trace another triangle inside of the first one. Just like that. All right, there you go. So next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to make a lightning bolt. Those are one of my favorite shapes. So to make a lightning bolt, you're going to start with a straight line. All right, you're going to bring it down and up, down and up, down and up, down and up. Make sure your downs are diagonal. All right, next you're going to bring it the other side down. You see how it's a little diagonal. All right, you want to make sure you get that done. Then up, down, to the next point, up, down, to the next point, just a little lower, up, down, and you're going to connect it. There you go. You got yourself your lightning bolt. All right, then I'm going to add, I think I'll use my straight edge again and make a rectangle. So I'm going to go down, and this is important. You want it to go behind your triangle. All right, that way it looks like you've got a lot of depth, even though it's just a flat piece of paper. Go, bring it up. All right, we're going to go ahead and connect it here, just like that. Okay, let's see. I think let's do some organic shapes. So for an organic shape, you can do a blob. I'm going to do a squiggly stripe, just like this. Go crazy with it. See how I did that? It's in my mind, I'm making sure that the pattern is going to be consistent. I'm going to bring it all the way across my paper, just like that. All right, let's see. Next, I'm going to do this kind of half moon shape. I'm going to do that over here. Square, bring it into a circle, straight, connect it, just like a macaroni noodle. There we go. All right, let's do some smaller shapes. So I'm going to do, let's see, I'll do another little triangle over here, just like that. You can use your straight edge if you need it. I'm just pretty good at drawing triangles. We'll do a couple of little triangles here. I'll do a little tiny baby one over here. There we go. Just like that. Let's see. Let's do zigzag line over here. So we'll go up and down and up and down, down and up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down. All right, and now we're just going to go up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. When you're doing your ups, make sure that the 2 points are pretty close together. So for an example, I'll go down, stop right around here, up, down. See that? Let's see, we need one more shape over here. You want to make sure you have some empty space, but not a lot, like over here. So let's do Let me think of a fun shape we could do. Oh, how about a moon, like a crescent moon? Or actually, let's do a star. Up. Just star over here. It's going to be a chubby star, but that's fine. There we go. Just like that. A little goofy looking star over here, and we are done with the beginning. So put the cap on your Sharpie, put it back down. Here we go. So as you can see, I filled up my entire sheet with shapes. So our next step is we're going to go in with our crayons, okay? So pull out your first color. I'm going to start with purple. All right, what we're going to do is we're going to draw shapes inside each of our shapes. So we're going to make patterns inside of our shapes. So for this one, I'll do a swirl. Just like that. There you go. I'm pressing down pretty hard on my crayon. You want to make sure you get a really nice solid line. Like that. All right. So we have our first pattern. Put the purple down, pick a new one. I'll do yellow. And inside of this one, I'm going to do checkers. So I'm going to go like one. Use the diagonal lines that connect, just like that. If you want to use your ruler for this step, you totally can. See, I'm pressing pretty hard, all the way down. All right, now to make our checks, we're just going to go in a different direction, just like that. Alrighty, just like that. Okay, so I'm going to keep making my patterns. I'm going to speed this part of the video up. If you need to, pause the video so you can catch up. The only rules is you cannot use white and you cannot use black. Alright, so go ahead, go crazy. Okay, so now we've gotten to the point where we have all of our patterns completely filled in. Alright, now here comes the fun part. Now you're going to take your white crayon, only your white crayon, and you're going to fill in all of the other spaces left, the negative space, with a different pattern. Now you can reuse the same patterns you had in here, but you need to make sure that they are far away from the pattern you use it in. So as an example, if I wanted to do polka dots, right? I could not use it in this space, or this space. I would have to use my polka dots over here, so it's far away. Okay? All right, I'm going to speed this part up again. You're going to go crazy, all right? Probably can't see it, but I have covered every inch of my piece with a new pattern. So I'm going to go ahead and move my crayons. And now it's time to bring out the watercolors. So go ahead and clear your workspace, bring your towel and your basin over, and we are going to color this in with our watercolors. So what we're going to do is we are going to choose complementary colors for each of our colors. I assume you've already looked at the PowerPoint, so you could probably tell me what a complementary color is. All right, in case you don't know, a complementary color is a color that sits directly opposite from another on the color wheel. So as an example, for our circle, the complementary color for purple, which is the one we used for our pattern, is going to be yellow. All right. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to choose a yellow. Now we don't want it to be too similar to this yellow, so let's choose a golden yellow. Actually, no, let's do a green yellow from over here. I mixed this color myself, so I'm going to add just a little more lemon to it. There we go. All right, now with my brush wet, I've picked it up, and I'm just going to smooth it over, just like that. You see how the color in the crayon isn't getting covered up? That's because it's called a resist. All right, it can resist the power of the watercolor. So I'm going to add a little more yellow here. See, I'm adding it on still wet. This is called wet on wet technique. All right, there we go. Creating some little squiggles here and there. And there we go, we have our first one. So let's go over to our star now. The complementary color for green is red. So I'm going to choose a more pink red over here. There we go, just like that. Get your brush wet, pick up the color, and look at that. Now that is just stunning. Isn't that gorgeous? It totally makes the green pop. All right, there we go. Just like that. We're going to color it in. We're going to stay in the lines. Look at that. Now that looks so cool. All right, I'm going to speed up the colors again. Alrighty, and you can take your time if you need to pause now. Go ahead and color in all your shapes. Make sure you stay in the lines. All right, let's get cracking. Here we are. We've got all of our shapes colored in. So now what you can do is you can go in specifically with your round, all right, with a wet brush, and you can add more colors. So I don't really like the way this color turned out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a golden yellow to it. And see, I like that much, much better. It's okay to add colors when you're playing with watercolors. You can always add more, but you can never take away. The only reason these ones are working so well is because they're the same color, just a different shade. There we go. And so it's still wet. I'm going to add with a very, very wet brush. See, it's almost dripping. Orange. You see how it spreads like that? Just squiggle it around, just like that. Alrighty, I'm going to go in. I'm going to clean up my shapes here with a little more blue. Make sure it's all nice and colored in. There we go. Look at that. You can see it pop. Alright, so now we have to pick a color. We have to pick two colors, actually, to go on our background. Now, they have to be in the same color family. So what I did here is I used two shades of the same two colors. So I've got yellow and orange. They're right next to each other on the color wheel. So you're going to pick two of those. For my background, I think I want to do pink into red. Or actually, I think I'll do pink into purple. So to start with that, we're going to take our pink, really, really, really wet brush, all right? You can even dip more in the water and just start in the middle. So add your first color in the middle. Be careful not to go over the lines. Just like that. Look at that. You can see our designs we made in white popping up like invisible ink. Look at that. Isn't that cool? All right. So we're going to dip our brush in the water again, dip it in the pink. We're going to bring it out along the edges. Look at that. We've got an entirely different pattern down here. Look at that. Isn't that cool? All right, we're going to bring some more pink over here. See how it's getting lighter? That is what we want. All right, we're going to pick a little more up. Bring it out to the edges. All right, more water. You're going to want your brush to be very wet for most of this. There we go. All right, so you're going to spread it out on the edges here, kind of smush it around a little. All right, so now we're going to take our purple, our next color, get it really, really wet. We're going to bring it in And you see I'm swirling my brush around here. I'm blending it in. It's really easy with watercolor, all right? So you don't have to stress too hard. Bring more purple to the edge. There we go. Just like that. Look at the blend. You can bring it a little more in. See, it's a nice magenta color. Add more purple. So our edges are going to be really purple. You can add more here. Just like that. Bring it in. With a little back and forth motion with your brush. There we go. Alright, so I want to add some more pink here. So I'm going to just take my brush, rinse it off. Add more pink. Nice and wet. Now just wash it off. Don't pick up any more ink and use the water to move the color. Just like that. See how it's blending together? Little strokes. Like that. Alright, let me add some more purple. Just like that. Some water. Pick up some purple. Look at that. So cool. Alright, so I'm going to continue this. I'm going to speed it up just a little bit. Pause it if you need extra time. But hopefully you've gotten most of the gist. Alright, there we go. Right, and we are done. Alright, so we're going to get a closer look here. Look at how cool that turned out. I definitely want you guys to send me pictures. I want to see what you made. Alright, and enjoy. So let this dry somewhere nice and flat. And you're all done. Thanks for painting with me. Bye.